three concepts or lessons that stood out for me the most were communication apprehension, understanding the audience, and speech techniques. These three specifically stood out to me because all three of them are really important when it comes to actually making the speech. When we were learning about communication apprehension, it helped show why I may be anxious about publicly speaking. I realized that when it comes to a formal speech, I do tend to get more anxious because I feel like people are almost paying more attention if it's a formal speech. If the speech is on something that I'm familiar with, it is a little bit easier, but I'm still just a very anxious person when it comes to speeches. My second lesson that I found important was understanding the audience. I feel like this one is kind of a given that it's important, and I feel like a bunch of other people will find it important as well. With this in our lesson, we learned how to talk to specific groups of people, or how to transform your speech into having it fit for a certain group of people. For example, I wouldn't want to give a speech to my family or someone that I'm familiar with, which is a conversational speech. I wouldn't want to give that same speech in a workplace or something like that, because I do feel like it would have to be more formal. I feel that if you don't know who your audience is, it is most likely going to be harder to give the speech because you don't know who it's geared to, who you're actually talking to. Knowing who you are giving a speech to would bring more and maybe different things into your presentation. I used this specific lesson, understanding the audience, in my informational speech because that speech I did was geared towards children, parents, teachers, and I would say families, because in my informative speech I talked about the effect that teachers have on on children or students, which I think is a very important topic. But if I were to say bring that to people who already put their kids through school, I feel like they wouldn't value it as much as parents who actively have kids in school, or the teachers actually doing the teaching. My third lesson that I thought was important was speech techniques. There are different kinds of speech techniques. There's emotional appeal, rhetorical devices, vivid imagery, and a few other ones. I used this lesson specifically in my persuasive speech. I also used emotional appeal as a speech technique, and this speech I did on the effects of children not having gym class and the amount of hours that they would need or not need. And I brought up statistics of how the children's mental health would be, and suicide rates and everything like that, which plays into the emotional appeal part of the speech technique.